In modern relationships, especially inside the fast-paced, emotionally charged environment of American dating, many women find themselves trapped in patterns they cannot fully explain. They feel deeply connected to someone who gives them very little back. They feel attracted to people who trigger anxiety, uncertainty, and emotional confusion. They stay in situationships longer than they know they should. At first glance, this seems like poor judgment or bad luck. But in reality, these outcomes are not random. They are the result of emotional triggers, specifically attachment triggers that skilled manipulators learn to exploit. This video uncovers how manipulators intentionally target the emotional wiring many women naturally possess. Not because women are weak, far from it. Women are emotionally intelligent, intuitive, and able to detect hidden intentions faster than most men. That is exactly why manipulators must use deeper psychological tactics to bypass their defenses. Today, we dive into the darker side of psychology, how attachment styles form emotional openings, how certain behaviors activate attachment anxiety, and how manipulators use these triggers to create dependence, confusion, and emotional vulnerability. This is not a video about blaming women. It is about giving clarity, strength, and psychological armor so that manipulation no longer works no matter who tries it. Section 1. What are attachment triggers? Attachment triggers are emotional responses that activate when a person feels their bond with someone is threatened, inconsistent, or deeply exciting. These reactions come from childhood patterns, past relationships, and emotional wiring developed early in life. For many women, common triggers include fear of abandonment, fear of losing emotional closeness, craving reassurance, desire for validation, anxiety when communication drops, overanalyzing mixed signals, emotional excitement from unpredictability. These triggers don't make someone weak. They make someone human. But manipulators, the strategic ones, study these triggers like a map. They know how to activate them. They know when to push, when to pull, when to disappear, when to return. Because when a woman's attachment system is activated, logic becomes quieter, and emotions become louder. Manipulators use these triggers to create two goals. 1. Emotional dependence. 2. Loss of personal boundaries. Once these two goals are achieved, the manipulator gains psychological power. Section 2. Why manipulators target women's attachment system. To understand manipulation, you must understand motive. Manipulators usually want one or more of the following: control, attention, validation, power, sex, financial support, emotional support without giving anything back. Women, especially in the American dating culture, often invest emotionally before physically. They look for patterns, effort, consistency, and sincerity. Because of this, a manipulator cannot succeed through surface-level tactics alone. He must play deeper. He must enter the emotional system. He must activate attachment. Why? Because once the attachment system is triggered, a woman becomes tied to the emotional outcome. She begins to think, maybe he didn't mean it. Maybe he's just busy. Maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe I should be more patient. Maybe he just needs love. These thoughts become a mental cage, built from emotional hope. Manipulators intentionally activate these thoughts by creating emotional highs and lows. They know, if she feels deeply, she will excuse deeply. If she hopes deeply, she will tolerate deeply. If she attaches deeply, she will stay deeply. Section 3. The most common attachment triggers manipulators use. Here are the top psychological triggers manipulators rely on, especially toward women. Trigger 1. Inconsistent affection. The push-pull pattern. This is one of the most powerful and widely used dark psychology tactics. The manipulator gives emotional intensity at the beginning: attention, warmth, compliments, long conversations, validation, promises, then suddenly pulls away. This creates emotional confusion. Women often interpret this pattern as, he must be busy. He'll come back when things settle. We had a strong connection, he wouldn't just throw it away. But the manipulator's goal is not love. It is uncertainty. Because uncertainty activates attachment anxiety. Anxiety makes the emotional bond feel urgent and important. The woman begins to chase the connection, not because she wants him, but because she wants the feeling she had before. Manipulators know this. They weaponize emotional inconsistency. Trigger 2. Selective attention. A manipulator gives attention at very specific times. Late at night, when he is bored, when he wants validation, when he feels lonely, when he senses she is pulling away. This selective attention creates an illusion. He cares sometimes, but that, sometimes, becomes emotionally addictive. In psychology, this is called intermittent reinforcement, the same mechanism used in casinos. You never know when the reward is coming, so you hold on longer. Trigger 3. Delayed responses and emotional waiting. The manipulator intentionally waits. Hours to reply, days to plan, minutes to answer simple questions. This creates internal anxiety. For many women, emotional waiting triggers fears. Did I do something wrong? Is he losing interest? Is he talking to someone else? Is he testing me? The manipulator's silence is a psychological message. Your emotional state is under my control. Trigger 4. Love bombing followed by distance. Love bombing is not love. It is emotional acceleration. Manipulators often start with intense compliments, fast emotional intimacy, future promises, deep conversation, constant contact, high energy. Then, when the emotional bond feels strong, they disappear or reduce effort drastically. This sudden shift shocks the attachment system, creating rumination, overthinking, emotional craving, desire to fix the situation. This shock and withdrawal method is designed to create emotional dependence. Trigger 5. Playing the victim. Manipulators often act like they were betrayed in the past. They were misunderstood. They were treated unfairly. They are emotionally damaged. They have trust issues. This triggers nurturing instincts. Many women are naturally empathetic. They want to help, heal, and support. The manipulator uses this empathy as a tool. If you leave, you're just like everyone who hurt me. This guilt manipulation keeps the woman emotionally invested. Trigger 6. Jealousy activation. Subtle jealousy triggers include mentioning other women, being overly friendly with strangers, posting attention-seeking content, praising other women's qualities, acting distant after seeing her confidence. The goal is insecurity, comparison, and emotional competition. Trigger 7. Emotional validation withdrawal. Manipulators know that many women seek verbal assurance. They use this by stopping compliments, reducing emotional availability, ignoring emotional needs, becoming colder over time. The woman begins chasing the reassurance she initially received. This is the emotional trap. Section 4. Why women fall for these triggers more than men. This is not about weakness. It is about psychological design. Women are biologically and socially programmed to read emotional cues. Their brains have stronger connections in regions responsible for empathy, emotional processing, and social interpretation. This means women bond deeper. Women feel stability stronger. Women sense emotional shifts faster. Women remember emotional details longer. Manipulators exploit these strengths to create emotional confusion. Section 5. The manipulator's playbook step by step. Here is the timeline most manipulators follow. Step 1. Target identification. They choose someone emotionally open, kind, empathetic, or loyal. They avoid emotionally unavailable or highly secure individuals. Step 2. Rapid bond building. They create deep emotional connection quickly. Fast intimacy leads to fast vulnerability. Step 3. Trigger activation. They begin using inconsistency, distance, and mixed signals to activate attachment anxiety. Step 4. Emotional control. Once the woman starts investing emotionally, they begin controlling the rhythm. When you talk, how long you talk, when you meet, when they pull away, when they return. The relationship becomes a psychological roller coaster. Step 5. Dependent stage. At this stage, the woman feels emotionally tied, even if she logically knows something is wrong. She tries to fix the situation, tries harder, invests more emotionally. Step 6. Power consolidation. Now the manipulator can ask for favors, cross boundaries, demand attention, avoid commitment, give less and expect more. The emotional imbalance is now complete. Step 7. Disappearance or cycling. Some manipulators disappear once they get what they want. Others repeat the cycle again and again to maintain emotional influence. Section 6. Signs you are being manipulated through attachment. Here are clear signs. 1. You think about him more than he thinks about you. 2. You feel anxious when he doesn't reply. 3. You replay conversations in your mind. 4. You justify his inconsistent behavior. 5. You feel like you are losing yourself. 6. You wait for his attention to feel secure. 7. You lower your boundaries to keep the connection alive. 8. You feel hopeful even when he gives nothing back. 9. You blame yourself for his emotional distance. 10. You fear losing him more than you value yourself. If 3 or more of these match your experience, manipulation is likely. Section 7. How to break free from attachment-based manipulation. Here are the most effective strategies. Strategy 1. Pattern recognition. Once you name the pattern, it loses emotional power. Awareness is the first step to control. Strategy 2. Reduce emotional investment. Stop feeding the system with overthinking, assumptions, emotional expectation, hope narratives. Detach emotionally first, physically later. Strategy 3. Reinforce your boundaries. Say no. Protect your time. Protect your energy. Stop rewarding inconsistency. Strategy 4. Slow down the bonding process. Manipulators rely on speed. Slow bonding exposes their weakness. Strategy 5. Watch actions, not words. Manipulators speak beautifully, but their behavior is inconsistent. Believe patterns, not promises. Strategy 6. Don't compete for their attention. They want you to feel emotionally replaced. Don't fall for it. Strategy 7. Prioritize self-worth. Manipulation fails when a woman values herself above the emotional chaos. Strategy 8. Go emotionally offline. Respond calmly, slowly, without emotional energy. Manipulators feed on emotional reactions. Stay neutral. Strategy 9. Walk away when the pattern repeats. A manipulator does not change. They only adapt. Strategy 10. Choose secure attachment partners. Secure partners offer stability, consistency, respect, emotional safety, the opposite of manipulation. Final message. Manipulators do not target women because they are weak. They target them because they are emotionally rich, deeply intuitive, and capable of meaningful connection. A manipulator wants to drain those qualities without giving anything back. This video is not only about exposing dark strategies. It is about giving power back to women, especially in a world where emotional intelligence is often exploited rather than appreciated. Understanding attachment triggers is the first step in breaking the cycle permanently. When you know your emotional wiring, no manipulator can sneak through it. When you know the game, you can no longer be played. Strength is not about never being triggered. Strength is about knowing how to respond when someone tries to use your triggers against you.